Hello again. Welcome everybody to the Self-Achievement Network. My name is Dominic. I am the host, and I am here with Gladys
Gladys.
Serrano Unse. Hello, Gladys.
Hello. In my screen, you're this way. So I'm not sure how this.
Well, I'm pointing this way. It's always, I'm not sure which way it is, but
Well, the way I
whichever
see it,
side you're
you're on my left. So I don't know.
on. Well,
Hello
we
there.
are recording live, and I want to say thank you all for watching. This is
Yes,
the
thank
I
you.
Don't Know What to Post series that Gladys is so generously produced, and we're turning it into video. And we have a great topic for you today. Today is all about,
Following people in your industry to get
aha.
content ideas from them.
So, yeah, so depending on what industry that somebody's in, they're going to look for people out there in the world that are doing things that they maybe aspire to,
Yeah.
or
So
they like the stuff that the content that they're creating, and so I'm going to go and look for that.
mhm. So this topic for today is a little different from the others because it's not the actual idea you should create content about. It's about where to look for ideas. It's one of the it's one of the things. It's one of the areas you can explore. Uh, the sources of more content ideas apart from this series, of course. So, so
Okay.
mhm. So what if?
So
Okay, sorry.
no, it's okay. So I'm wondering. So what do we have today? So what are some of the ideas that you have about using other people in our industry?
Yeah. So if you're a business owner, most probably there are, or pretty sure there are people who have been in the industry longer than you, who have been more successful and have bigger following than you do in terms of the content
Yes.
platforms that you have. So it's basically following the people who create more content than you and seeing what types of content they're producing. So why would this be helpful? Because number one, since you're in the same industry, you're pretty much doing the same things and you're targeting the same audience. That's number one. So the things that they're producing are most probably also interesting for the people you talk to in your business. So that's number one. Number two, I think it's a good idea because since they have more resources to produce content on a regular basis, they most probably have teams working for them, creating those
Mm-hmm.
regular posts and coming up with new ideas every day. So since if you're a small business owner, you don't have that yet. So you can leverage on the ideas that they're coming up on a regular basis and try to um, like spin those ideas off to match the specific branding that you have for your business and to match your specific audience. So
Mm-hmm. So like if I see somebody in my industry, say on Instagram, that is getting lots of likes on a certain topic, and maybe there's two or three other people that I follow that
mhm.
are getting lots of likes on the similar topic. That would be a clue for me to write down and say, okay, let's come up with some content for
Yes.
that particular thing in my own way.
Yes, that's a good way to go about it. You don't just when you go to these people's online platforms, you don't just browse through their content. You also look at the engagements that these particular posts get. So it's really a good indicator about on how interested people are about this particular topic and how they basically how they receive it. You can go through the comments and if they have questions, if you see the people's reactions to these posts, and you have an idea if it would be a good thing to produce a similar type of content for your business or not. Because if it's maybe some of the topics are too controversial, or some topics don't get as much engagement as it should have, things like that. So yeah, it's all about strategy. You can have your own strategy looking at those types of content, because there will be a lot. If you really follow like the big people in your industry, you can expect a lot of content in their platforms. But it's up to you which topics, which particular types of content you would actually use for your own business.
Mm-hmm. So, and it's a good idea to look because it gives me the answers that I need,
Mhm.
especially if I don't know what to post.
Exactly. It's just like it's actually it's similar to our first topic, which is looking at their competitors' content. So it's basically leveraging the ideas and the content that other people are already producing.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have those ideas yet, if you're having a hard time coming up with those ideas yourself.
So, are you going to show us something that we could
Oh
look
yes.
at?
So 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 I think the first step that our audience members could try is list out the people at the top of their heads who they're following, who they idolize, or they think are doing really great in their business, in their industry,
Mm-hmm.
and do a quick search on the internet to see. How come I can't share my screen? Oh, here you go. Am I already sharing it? Oh, there you go. Okay. So, for
Very close.
example,
Yeah.
so at the top of my head, when it comes to digital marketing, I think about Gary Vaynerchuk. He he talks a lot about marketing, business, and he has a lot of ideas. And um, if I want to address people in my audience and share information to them about digital marketing, he is certainly one of the people I can get ideas from.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
so
he's got content everywhere, and I think that
yes,
he probably has a big team of people behind him. So
yes,
for the
agree.
small business person looking at something like this may feel overwhelming. It certainly has for me in the past. But just to keep in mind that I'm looking for ideas here, not necessarily trying to compete with somebody like this.
Yep. Okay, so what you can do is, if you have that, you already have those names of the people you follow in your industry, you can do a quick search. Um, you can do a quick search of on the person that you've added to your list, and see what comes up. So as for Gary V, we have found his website. He has a Twitter page. He has content in all possible platforms there is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what can you do? You can actually you can visit his website, and what if you really want to follow this person, if you really want to be up to date about what content he produces on a daily basis, on a regular basis, you can subscribe to his mailing list. So most of the time when you look at someone's website, there's this opt-in page that lets you subscribe to their mailing list so that you can receive regular updates
Mm-hmm.
on your inbox. So that's an easy that you want to do that because it makes your life easier. You get updates sent to you instead of looking for them yourself one by one manually online.
Yeah. So they're
So
just coming in on a daily basis or
yes,
whatever, and then they're always there right at the fingertips.
yes, exactly.
It's a great tip. Yep.
So yeah, you can subscribe to his mailing list, and there are other. I think some of the blogs also have like RSS feeds that they use that you can follow.
Okay.
So this section you can actually find other platforms where he is in. He publishes content in. So you can follow him on Instagram, on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. He also has Snapchat, LinkedIn, Medium, and what is this? Oh, podcast. He also has a podcast. So it really depends on. You don't have to follow everything. You just you can actually focus on the platform that you use the most because some of the times they publish the same content across all platforms, so you don't really need to follow everything. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it depends on which platform you really like the best. So apart from those things, so you can join their mailing list, you can follow their blog. So going through the blog already gives you a lot of ideas, a lot of topics.
Sure.
And if you're more into watching videos, there's his YouTube page. And the last thing I want to share is you can also join online communities that that these thought leaders, these leaders in your industry have built online. This particular online group, Facebook group that I joined, actually wasn't founded by Gary Vaynerchuk, but it's a community of his avid fans, I guess followers, and I'm actually not sure if he himself is in this game.
Mm-hmm.
But most probably there are some people in his team who are, and there are lots of discussions about his content and the things he does, things like that, applying the lessons he shares to his audience. And it's also a good thing to do to join these groups because aside from getting regular updates of about the content your the person you're following publishes, you can also interact with other people who also follow this particular person and get more ideas from them. So yeah, they regularly post like questions, thoughts, well, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Well, basically any topic that they want to talk about, and also somehow relates to the things that that particular successful person is doing. So yeah, those are some of the things they can do to follow these.
It's interesting, and also I think that it's important, like you had mentioned before, about looking at the engagement in terms of the likes and comments and things like that, because those are big indicators that show us the interest, and not like we're copying. It's just that why would we want to reinvent the wheel when we don't have to?
Exactly. So it's actually
So
it actually saves you time because instead of testing out this certain topics to write about, whether they would your audience would like them or not, they some of them are actually published already, so you can just see look at those posts and see how the people react to those particular topics yourself.
Sure. And let me ask you a question. So, in your professional opinion, so let's say there's a post there that gets a lot of engagement.
Mhm.
Would it be okay for me to take the link and then also just post that with my own personal comments about, about a certain topic? So instead of me creating my own content, I just share the link and say, okay, listen to what Gary Vee has to say, or whatever, SME, subject matter expert in the field, thinks about it. So then,
It's it's actually a good thing. If you do it this way, some of the it's actually a backlinking strategy that people, business owners or marketers use to actually generate more traffic to their site. So let's say, for example, I'm a content marketer and I see this particular um, content of Gary Vee that he published, and it's really getting a lot of traction. And I want to create content about it. So what I can do is I can create my own article curating that particular content that he has. So it's talking about the same thing, but just mentioning. And Gary Vee says this, and he published a post about this, and you include the link, things like that. So you're basically giving your own take about this particular content that he published. And what you can actually do is after you publish that article, you can contact Gary Vee and say that, hey Gary, I saw that you published this content about this topic, and I actually mentioned that article in my own blog, and I just wanted to share it with you, and maybe you would like to share that article to your audience. So most of the time when people when more experienced business owners receive messages like that their content have been used, have been mentioned in some other people's blogs and websites, they they would be willing to share that your link to their audience because it's also traffic for them. They once they share that link to their audience and see that you've been mentioned in that article,
mm-hmm.
it actually gives you also it also gives them exposure. So most of the time they're willing to share your link, so it generates more traffic to your site as well, to your own content as well. So you're
Isn't
leveraging
there
on
a
their
word
audience.
for that?
I'm sorry.
There's a word for that, I think.
Um, it's it's what people call in the SEO world backlinking.
Uh-huh.
So you backlinking is when people use the link to your own content in their own website, and you get traffic from other websites because they link back to your website. I'm not sure if I'm
Okay.
explaining it correctly, but that's
Yeah,
how
it
it
does.
works.
But I'm also
That's
using people that may have a larger audience than me too. So that's influencer marketing. So there's
yes,
there's all
exactly.
kinds of things that are coming into play. And I think what I'm hearing from you and what I'm learning from you right now is that there's lots of ideas that are out there, and utilizing people in my industry is a really smart thing to do. So again, the series here is called "I Don't Know What to Post," right? So coming up with the ideas like this is really beneficial and saves us a whole lot of time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, okay, cool. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Mm, well, I guess that's it. Well, doing this particular strategy, um, it really depends on you as the business owner whether you to decide who to follow and what particular content they produce that you'll be replicating for your own business. Because there are times that yes, there are people who create more content than you, who has more followers than you, but they don't necessarily align with how you do your business. So you
Mm-hmm.
can also think about you also want to consider that when doing this particular strategy for creating content. So it's really up to you what works for your business, and you can test some of the content ideas out and see for yourself.
Great. Okay. Great. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and knowledge with us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my
It really
pleasure.
is very helpful. So, for those of you that are watching, if you have comments or any questions for Gladys, please
Yes.
always, post them in the links
Yes, yes, we'd love to
comment
hear from
section
you.
below.
Yeah.
And if you enjoy this, always, share it and subscribe. We've got a YouTube channel, so subscribe. So anytime that we create new videos like this, you get notified.
Yes.
Okay. So for all of us here in the Self Achievement Network, have yourself a great day wherever you're at, great evening, and we will see you whenever we see you next time in the I Don't Know What to Post series with Gladys Serrano Unse. Take care.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.